All right, we are back. Well, oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Let's switch this over to mute. We're a little time constrained today, so I'm going to push through this about as quickly as I can. I've got a political rally I'm going to, hopefully the next governor of Florida later, so that's what's going on here. I'm excited. I hope it's good. Weather's a little bad, but at least it's indoors, so don't have to worry about that too much. But I figured I'd be on time today and try and get through as much of everything as I can. But we do have a hard cutoff at 5:50 today, where I've got to get out of here and hit the road. So, yeah, let's just hop right into it. Waste no more time than we already have. Let's see. Switch over. So today is Monday, April 20th, 2026. This is episode 92 of Addressing the Issues. Happy Patriots Day, everyone. There's another holiday, apparently, today that we do not celebrate because it is I don't know. We'll leave it at that. Happy Patriots Day. That's what today is. Nothing else. But yeah. So we'll start off with what's going on with the Iran war ceasefire. As that drags to a close, I believe Wednesday is when it is over, and I guess hostilities will begin again. At least that's what President Trump is threatening, that hostilities will continue if an agreement is not reached. But tomorrow, Iran is reportedly sending a delegation to Islamabad once again. Like I said, as this ceasefire is supposed to end on Wednesday. Now, hopefully they can reach an agreement. I still think that the two parties are a little bit too far apart for an agreement to be reached, and it seems that no side wants to give up too many concessions. But, on the bright side, they get to reuse their Islamabad talks billboards again. So shout out Pakistan for making this an entire event. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now, I guess over the weekend, before we make an assumption as to what we expect to happen here. But this weekend, the U.S. fired upon and seized an Iranian container ship. The ship was called the Tuska. It was said that it damaged the engine room, breached the side of it. Troops landed on board. You can actually find those videos, allegedly, of this mission to seize the ship with, I guess, troops dropping out of helicopters, boarding the vessel. This was one of 4 ships, Iranian ships, that attempted to run the blockade. Apparently the 4 were all turned away. I guess that is to include this one, which was struck and boarded. But it's also said that none of these ships made it through the blockade. So that's the status of the U.S. side of this blockade, this debacle in the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier this weekend, Iran fired upon an Indian cargo ship. There's actually the audio from that circulating the internet as well. kind of hectic. But yeah, it seems that nobody's really getting through the Strait of Hormuz, whether the U.S. stops them or Iran stops them. So it's safe to assume, probably at this point, while the Strait of Hormuz is reportedly open, it seems that in reality it is effectively closed still, with the U.S. stopping Iranian ships leaving Iranian port, and Iran attacking ships leaving other ports in the Arabian Sea. So we're not seeing the free trade that we did before this war broke out. I guess I can check real quick, check marine traffic and see what's going on. There's a couple ships going through, it seems. 31 minutes ago, 4 hours ago. Looks like another one is going to attempt to cross it right now. But 4 ships is nowhere near normal traffic levels for the Strait of Hormuz. Normally has hundreds, or at least double digits, and now we've seen single digits since the war's broken out every single day. So apparently it's open. It seems in all reality it's effectively closed by both sides, stopping other people's ships. Wow, it is coming down out there. There's other news surrounding this Iran war that's going on with pertaining to other countries. Most prominently, I would say, is Ismail Khani, who is the head of the IRGC Quds Force, has resurfaced for the first time since the Iran war broke out. He flew to Baghdad on April 8th, reportedly, with the mission of picking Iraq's next prime minister, showing the interconnectedness of both Iran and Iraq. It seems, like I've said time and time again, more and more countries are just picking their side now, making alignments, whether you are with the U.S. coalition or you're with the Iranian, what seems to be a developing coalition between Hezbollah, Iran, Iraq, even with China's support, apparently Russian support as well. Then we get to the Russian side of this. The Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, allegedly has called the Iranian foreign minister to reinforce the necessity of this ceasefire that's currently in place, that is currently planned to expire come Wednesday. So Russia is now stepping in as well, saying that this needs to be continued, the ceasefire at least. Hopefully there's a peace deal and all the tension can come down, but it doesn't seem that that's the case. In fact, I believe in all likelihood we're going to see an extension of this ceasefire. With the two parties being so far apart, I don't know that anybody necessarily wants to go to kinetic war, a ground invasion. I don't think Iran has the capabilities to start taking over the Middle East with its military equipment. It could do missile strikes, drone strikes, reportedly tens of thousands more of those. But I don't think that they have the ability to run through the Middle East in a war of, I guess, conquering further territory. I don't think they're going to go on to U.S. bases. And I don't think the U.S. wants to go into Iran either. So what does this result in? I think it looks a lot like a Cold War style tension between both Iran and the U.S., in which Iran will be rebuilding its military and the U.S. will be positioned in the vicinity of Iran. I think that's what this is looking like, is some sort of a U.S.-Iran Cold War. And I guess the interesting part is nuclear weapons are once again a major reason for this Cold War, just like the U.S. and the USSR from the basically the end of World War II into the 90s. Now it is going to be the U.S. and Iran in this conflict, Cold War style conflict, that could have been fully avoided. There was a 60 Minutes report, and it said that Iran had uranium enriched to 60% for 20 years. And then people are taking this clip and they're posting it and saying that President Trump stopped Iran just in time. It's been this case for 20 years, apparently. It's like when Benjamin Netanyahu came over here starting in the 90s saying, oh, Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. It's like, okay. But the reality of this situation is Iran is doing this as a positioning as being a threshold state, meaning they are non-nuclear but have the capability to break out into nuclear, has the breakout capability of nuclear weapons with this 60% enriched uranium, which currently can't even be used for a bomb. It's reported that it needs to be around 80% or higher for it to be effective. So they are positioning themselves that they can do it if it's necessary, but haven't done it for 20 years. And the main thing that was preventing them, the hilarious irony in this whole situation, the main thing that was preventing them from creating nuclear weapons is that there was a fatwa against nuclear weapons, established by the last Ayatollah, who's now dead. And the crazy part about fatwas is when the leader dies, that rule, law, decree dies with them. And now there's nothing, in reality, that says they cannot create nuclear weapons in their own law. When with the last leader he said that they were not allowed under Islam. And now that he's dead, that order died with him, and now I guess they can do it if they want to. It's now, what is it? What's the word? Oh, whatever. It's not haram anymore to make nuclear weapons in Iran now, so I think that's just, hilarious irony. The reason we go to this war is to prevent them from making nuclear weapons, and they have a rule that says that they will not create nuclear weapons, and then you kill the dude making the rule ineffective anymore. Absolutely 7D chess, but I don't know. What do I know about 7D chess? I can't even play the regular one. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. That'd be a funny game night. You go on chess.com and get waxed. Nobody would enjoy that. A race to zero elo. In other news on this Iran war, the UAE has inquired with the U.S. about a financial lifeline in the event this war drags on, meaning if we don't pay Iran reparations at this next summit, which is one of their demands, we will need to, is a strong term, will be requested by the UAE to pay reparations to them for the war dragging on. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, in which we will somehow be paying some other country, whether we end this war hopefully tomorrow, or we end this war however many years into the future, days, years. I don't understand how the UAE went from paying the U.S. hundreds of billions or even trillions. I can't remember which one they were in that Gulf visit that President Trump did at the beginning of his second term, where everybody was handing out money. And now we get to today and they're asking, we want our money back, which what a complete reversal, complete 180. We go from being paid by the UAE or being invested in by the UAE, to the UAE asking us to pay them as this war drags on. Then in another, I guess, maybe possibly related story to this war, I don't know how interconnected the two are, but it's been reported, I believe first by Fox News, that federal authorities arrested an Iranian woman at Los Angeles International Airport. These criminal complaints against her are that she brokered deals to sell drones, bombs, bomb fuses, assault weapons, and millions of rounds of ammunition, all of which was made in Iran, to Sudan. And she gets arrested in the United States. I don't know how interconnected she is to the regime, but nevertheless, that is one more country somehow tangentially involved in this war. And I guess an Iranian, I don't know how connected she can be to the regime, being a woman, but that's just how it is there. I'm not saying anything about women. I'm just saying that Iran, it'd be kind of unheard of to have a woman in a position like that, a important espionage, I don't know, spy role, military supplier role to foreign countries. I don't see that as something Iran would do, but maybe she is somehow connected to the regime. I'm not sure, but it's interesting how she, as an Iranian woman, is arrested for doing military trades, military deals from Iran to Sudan in the United States during this Iran-U.S. war conflict, whatever you want to call it. It's just interesting, the timing. And then, so some more reports that I've seen that I think relate to this idea that this will be Cold War-esque is that allegedly a U.S. official told Axios today that Trump doesn't want to keep fighting, but he will if he thinks he has no choice. So it seems that Trump has, like somebody else said, gotten bored with this already. Went to war with Iran and gotten bored. But besides that, I mean, it seems that if you don't want to keep fighting, you would put another ceasefire down and then continually extend these. I don't know if this next one will be a ceasefire that has no end date, unlike the last one. I don't know if it'll be another week, 2 weeks, and then they'll reconvene and decide, hey, we still have nothing in common. You want to attack ships, we want free trade. You want a nuclear weapon, we won't let you have a nuclear weapon. You want reparations, we won't pay reparations. But I think that's where all this is leading. I think this leads to probably another ceasefire. It seems that Trump is realizing the public isn't too in favor of this war, especially as gas prices hike every single day, it seems. There was a small dip. I should have bought gas during that time, but I mean, sitting at $4 a gallon isn't exactly going to get the U.S. public on board, because they are feeling it in their everyday lives. Every time you go to the pump and you see that number, you feel a little, you feel some type of way. You feel like, why am I paying this much in a war that we kind of didn't really need to get into? I guess, which goes on to the next point, is a Truth Social post, I believe from today. I'm pretty sure it was from this morning. And it says, Israel never talked me into the war with Iran. The results of October 7th added to my lifelong opinion that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, comma, did, period. Must be a typo. It says, I watch and read the fake news pundits and polls in total disbelief. 90% of what they say are lies made up of stories, and the polls are rigged, much as the 2020 presidential election was rigged. Just like the results in Venezuela, which the media doesn't like talking about, the results in Iran will be amazing. And if Iran's new leaders, regime change, are smart, Iran can have a great and prosperous future. DJT. I read the first statement of this earlier, and I was shocked that he says Israel never talked me into the war with Iran, which I guess has a hint of truth. They never talked you into it. They just did it and you obliged. You remember the hours after this war started where Marco Rubio tells the press, he says that Israel was going to attack anyway, and the threat of assured retaliation on U.S. forces in the region was going to, or what had forced our hand into joining in on the initial attacks. Everybody remember that? Anybody? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers that you said that right after the war started, that they forced our hand into doing it. And now President Trump has come out and said Israel never talked me into the war. I guess they didn't talk you into it. They forced you into it. They forced us into it. I mean, I guess it's a half-truth. They didn't talk you into it. They did it, and you just had to oblige with them. Just say, oh, well, I guess I've got to do it now. So maybe they didn't talk you into it. They forced you into it. I don't know which one's better. I don't know that one is better than the other. But that's our great friend in Israel. There's also a disturbing image I saw that's been making the rounds on X. I don't know if it's been making the rounds on any other social media, but it is a picture of an IDF soldier hitting a sculpture of Jesus Christ in the head with what looks to be either a sledgehammer or an axe, I can't really tell, in southern Lebanon. So the IDF has responded to this, and it says they wanted to see if the image was real. They have since confirmed that the image was real, and then they put out a statement on X. The statement reads, following the completion of an initial examination regarding a photograph published earlier today of an IDF soldier harming a Christian symbol, it was determined that the photograph depicts an IDF soldier operating in southern Lebanon. The IDF views the incident with great severity and emphasizes that the soldier's conduct is wholly inconsistent with the values expected of its troops. The incident is being investigated by Northern Command and is currently being addressed through the chain of command. Appropriate measures will be taken against those involved in accordance with the findings. Furthermore, the IDF is working to assist the community in restoring the statue to its place. The IDF is operating to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure established by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon and has no intention of harming civilian infrastructure, including religious buildings or religious symbols. I don't know where to begin with this. It's kind of odd that they add harming civilian infrastructure, which they have stated openly that they were bombing bridges to separate southern Lebanon from the capital and the rest of the country. Then also including religious buildings and religious symbols. There was the churches that have been destroyed by explosions in Lebanon, in Gaza as well. So it's funny that you add that in because maybe you misfired your tank into a church and killed people. Maybe that happens sometimes. I would expect better. This statement in general sounds like they do expect better. But I think we would all like to know what measures are being taken place as repercussions for this soldier's actions. I think we would all like to know that. But in response to this, working to assist the community in restoring the statue to its place, it was what looks to me as Jesus on the cross, except for that it fell 180 degrees. Jesus was upside down, and from there he decides to take some tool, some instrument, and is seen striking Jesus in the head. I think what Lebanon should do, I mean, it's all up to them. I guess it's actually up to the IDF because they're controlling the area. But if they had any say in it, I would right him, put him back in the vertical position, and say, you know, don't try and repair it. We're going to leave it there as a message, as a symbol of what is being done to Christians by Israel. That's what I would do. I would say, write it, but leave it as is. Don't try and act like you never damaged it, because you did. Somebody obviously took pride in damaging it because they wanted to take a picture of it, and somehow this picture gets posted online. But leave it as a message. Leave it as a message to the world of what's actually going on there, because attacking Christian symbols, icons as means to wager war against Islam is completely absurd to anybody with common sense and reasoning. What did that image of Jesus on the cross have to do with your dismantling of terrorist organizations? I hope you can explain that, because it didn't. It didn't. And this is why they talk about this being a religious war. What side are we fighting on in it? What side are we fighting on? Are we fighting for Christian values, or are we fighting for a nation state? It seems clearer and clearer every day that we are fighting toward or for a nation state, and not for any religious values or religious values that Americans in general would agree with. But that's that. That is the current state of the fun war in the Middle East that just it doesn't look good. Whether, I don't know. Hopefully we'll just have a extended ceasefire. I don't think anybody's getting to a peace deal. Hopefully we don't go back into active battle with Iran, active conflict. And hopefully somehow during this time we can rein in the attacks on Christians throughout the region, because it's our holy land too. It's not owned by any one religion. Never should be. But I don't know, that's that. Just evil stuff. Evil stuff going on there. We'll move on from, like I said, this broader Middle East fiasco that we've interwoven ourselves in. And we'll move on to, I guess, the funnier subject of FBI Director Kash Patel and his fiasco with The Atlantic. I don't know, does the I in FBI stand for intoxication? The Federal Bureau of Intoxication? Possibly. That's at least what The Atlantic has claimed. They've reported that Kash Patel has been excessively drinking as the FBI director, partially because he believes that his position may be going away, not the FBI director, but his employment there. Rumors have been circulating of that for months, and then this comes out allegedly from sources within the FBI, that he has been drinking as he's become more and more stressed that he will be relieved of his duties. I think this would have been a good sign that maybe he should have got sober and got better at his job, but nevertheless, he decided, or has reportedly decided, that the best way to deal with this pressure is to drink as opposed to getting better at his job. He released a statement. It said something along the lines, Kash Patel, that the Atlantic did the report with malicious intent, and that suing the Atlantic would be a legal layup for, I guess, the FBI for him. The Atlantic, in response, said that they stand by the reporting of their journalists and against the meritless lawsuit by Kash Patel. Kash Patel says it's a layup. The Atlantic says it's meritless. And then today it comes out that Kash Patel is now suing the Atlantic for $250 million in damages over the article. I guess maybe that'll cover his retirement. But this is absolutely absurd. This is your tax dollars at work. We say that a lot here. But we are now, as taxpayers, funding a defamation suit against the Atlantic for reporting that the FBI director has a drinking problem, and no matter how this goes, you as the taxpayer, as always, get to foot the bill. So I hope you all are excited for this lawsuit, because you're paying for it. Discovery should be rather interesting in this one. If it does go the discovery, I think that will be, it might make all the money that you spend as a taxpayer worth it, honestly. But also, it's just such a shame that this is how our resources are being used to sue journalists over reporting. It's a sad commentary in the state of our government, honestly, that instead of actually getting the job done, we just sue people for defamation, for damages over mean articles written about public figures. And I mean, I guess you could call it mean. I don't know what the proper term for this would be. I don't know that it's mean. I think it's, I guess, damaging to his reputation if everybody thinks of him as the person who is aggressively drinking to the point that they can no longer do their job. So just a sad commentary on the state of America, that this is how our money gets used. It doesn't get used to fight crime, this money would be much better allocated for the FBI to actually arrest criminals, maybe. But instead it is being used to attack a news agency which allegedly reported truthfully, at least according to the spokespeople, the people in the position to put out statements for the Atlantic. So, yeah, that's that. Just the best expenditures of our money of all time these days. It's over and over again that we end up paying for just silly things. Like, just if you're a man, just take it and walk away and say, okay, they said some mean things about me, but I don't care, I'm going to do my job well, and then they'll stop. No, the alternative, which was picked by the FBI director, is you said something mean, so I'm going to sue you for damages, although I'm a public figure and allegedly people told them this. Like, just do your job well, man. Just do your job well, and this never would have happened. But I'm glad I'm paying for it. But we're going to move on to the good news segment. Like I said, this was going to be a shorter show today because I've got to get out of here in about 30 minutes. And I'm not even fully ready, so we'll move on to the good news segment. keeping it short and simple today on the show. I have stuff going on later, so am I where I wanted to be? Yes. Okay. But yeah, we'll get back and finish catching up with this weekend tomorrow. I think I got the main stuff across. Make sure you guys are dropping a like, subscribing on YouTube, following on Kick, following on Rumble, sharing the channel. I appreciate that. Mostly I appreciate you guys that come in here, stick around every day. There's quite a few of you guys in here, so I really appreciate that. You guys are the best for sticking around. But let's go to the good news. So today we're reading out of Matthew, starting at Matthew 18:15 through 18:20. It reads, "If your brother sins against you, go and show him his fault, just between the two of you. If he listens to you, you have won your brother over. But if he will not listen, take one of two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. I tell you the truth, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you lose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, I tell you that if 2 of you on earth agree about anything you ask for, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where two or 3 come together in my name, there am I with them." The part I want to focus about is that last part, 18:20, Matthew 18:20. It says, "For where 2 or 3 of you come together in my name, there I am with them." That's kind of the point of this segment. I see as all of us have come together, all of you viewers have come to listen. I wish you guys had a little more input. Comment section's always open unless you're driving, in which case focus on driving. Do not be writing in my chat and getting involved in an accident. But we come together here. There's 2 or more of us today. I don't know, this evening we'll call it. There are 2 or more of us. This is where God is with us. He comes together when there's 2 or more, especially in his name. Like right now we're reading through his Bible. That's the goal of this segment, is that we come together, we can bounce opinions in the live chat, assuming you're not driving, and just share the gospel. And when we do this, God is with us. It's just awesome that I have the ability to do this, that you guys still come to me, join for the shows, join for the news, join for the good news, which this is. But it's awesome that God comes into these situations and helps us go in the right direction. This is the right direction, the Holy Bible. But remember that when you are meeting with someone as a Christian, whether it be you and one other person, you and a group, that the Lord is with you, and it is an opportunity to talk to people about God, talk to people about the sacrifice Jesus made for us on the cross so that we can be forgiven. So like I say time and time again, that we can have it forever together with him. We are the church of Jesus Christ. And one of our duties is to talk about Jesus, talk about God, talk about all he's done for us, but all he can do for everyone else, and invite them into the Lord's family. That's the glory of what God has given us, what Jesus dying on the cross did when the curtain ripped and the Holy Spirit was allowed into the world for everybody, for everyone to witness, for everyone to talk with, for everyone to experience. Just a true miracle, a true love, a love that you'll never find anywhere else like on earth. But yeah, when two or more are gathered, the Lord is with you. So 6 of us here, the Lord is with us tonight. He is always with you. No matter what phase of life you're going through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the Lord's always with you. And remember to share his gospel, because you never know who may be listening, who may be open to accepting it, open to accepting Jesus into their life, and from there becoming a worker of God just like yourself. So I don't know, I hope more people will be willing to talk about Christianity in public, because it's the only way out of all this stuff. It really is the only way out of all this madness, and to have the forever which we so desire, with what is holy, what is good, as opposed to what seriously most times these days seems like a cruel and evil world. There is an opportunity beyond this earth to experience what you would hope life would be. Well, even greater than what you can hope for. I don't think any of us truly understand how great it'll be when we get there. I sure don't, and I don't know that any of you guys do either. All the promises. I mean, if God just keeps 1 or 2 of them, it'd be better than earth. But he keeps them all, which is so glorious, so glorious. But yeah, that's where we're going to end it for today, so I can get ready. I can get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you're dropping a like. Make sure you're sharing the channel, subscribing, following, whatever platform you're on. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Really helps me with the algorithm, helps me get the news out there, and hopefully the word of God out there, at least as capable as I am of doing so. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed. I should be back tomorrow, 4:45 for a regular length show. That is the plan. So yeah, I'm going to go learn about politics tonight, because any opportunity to learn is a great one. But yeah, that's all I've got. To my people on the East Coast, I hope you get home safe. To my people further west, I hope you finish up your workday strong and get home safe as well. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.